Okay, there's the notification. Welcome back, people. As you can tell by my location, maybe, I did some farming off-stream. I decided I wanted to minimize how much I would have to do during this stream. Welcome to the stream, last one. So, I went out and got a bunch of supplies for the bolts that we could have. So now I've got several hundred bone bolts, along with plenty of thin beast bones, and over 100 each of the other stuff, with at least 63 of the secondary component for all of those. So it's really nice, actually, that we have all these farming spots. So y'all saw the farming spot for beast bones down here, and that one's no different. The whatchamacallit, the poison blooms are over here. And to get the blood roses, I have to go into Fort Height. The one that I didn't do any of last time, welcome to the stream, Rafkin, was up here. As it turns out, if you come up here to the War Master's hut and do a quick sprint over this way, this is the location in Limgrave for grabbing smoldering butterflies. Now, before we leave Limgrave, there's one more thing that I want to do. Before I do it, I'm gonna come here and spend the runes that I got from farming sheep.
Goodbye.
So, we are going to move to nighttime. And then visit the War Master's shack.
Not see names, but let me ask. Are you here? Does your despite? Yeah, it takes me any interest in all I know. Now's the time. There's a myriad memento fine, that's how it grants me. Not floating.
Okay, maybe talking to him. Get him out of the way. It can be really annoying to try and get this to work. Is there anything else that we can do while we're here? Alright, I am going to change tactics real quick. Go and fight something else, and hopefully... It's nighttime, isn't it? I didn't just pass time to morning twice or something. Not fast, but pretty dang safe, so I'll take it. Okay, surely that's given enough time for the bell-bearing hunter to show up. I think he's there. Where is he?
There you...
What if I buy his skill? Will that do it? I'll buy two.
Well...
There we go. Luckily, this poison seems to be putting in real work. And, of course, that's when it stops. Okay. We're going to swap to the regular bolts now. There we go. So there was a reason that I bothered with what was going to be guaranteed to be a really boring fight. That got us the Bone Peddler's Bell Bearing. Which means now, if we want bones, we can just buy them. There's one more thing that I want to grab while I'm thinking about it. We could also grab this just inside of Liurnia, but 1800 for the lantern. Okay. Now that we've done that, and we have the Bone Peddler's Bell Bearing, so that if we want bones, we can theoretically just buy them rather than having to farm them.
Now I can
Let's head to Liurnia. Luckily, and kind of surprisingly, you can reload these crossbows really fast. Which allows me to get more shots off than I really expected to. It's very handy. So I've looked a little bit ahead in terms of what we want to do in this chunk of the run. The start is pretty typical for Liurnia. We're gathering stuff, especially smithing stones. But also the usual golden seeds and other flask upgrades. I wish you could touch Grace from on top of Torrent. Oh wait, those are smithing 2s. I thought those were 3s for some reason. So yeah, we need smithing 3s. I believe that without facing any extra bosses in this area, we can get to smithing... We can get the arbalest to smithing level... Oh, what was it? 12, I think? You can get enough smithing 3s and 4s to max it out on those. The 4s will mostly be from going through the ruin-strewn precipice. The 3s, on the other hand, will come from random drops like that. I really couldn't remember what Ash of War was there. You know, I had a bit of a fun idea for an Elden Ring challenge earlier today, which was just to play as a serial killer who wants to personally murder every NPC he can in the Lands Between. And then I would get by on just the equipment I got from murdering people, plus the usual smithing stones and, oh, hang on. Plus the usual smithing stones, and flasks, because it would otherwise be pretty boring. It would just be kind of a Patch's spear and Bernal's halberd run. Okay, there should be some here at the crayfish pavilion, the lobster pavilion, or whatever it's called. Yeah, I didn't feel like trying to maneuver my way out of there. I would have spent as much time trying to dodge their attacks as... I did just warping. Another lobster pavilion. Genuinely, I think that right there is one of the hardest pickups to find without checking the online map. Because you just kind of have to follow a specific rock in the distance from that last grace. And it's hard to remember which rock.
I presume. Oh, I am an old crow here, perhaps.
So we're going to want some somber 3 and 4s at some point, but no rush on getting them yet. Hello, doggos. the intelligence physic. At the very least, I shouldn't really need the intelligence physic. So part of the plan to get smithing 3s, or smithing 4s, will be... Well, actually, the entire plan to get smithing 4s is the rune-strewn precipice, because there are 13 of them there. So we can just run through and grab as many as we see. Be nice and easy. Also, we just unlocked what is arguably the best spot for farming smoldering butterflies. It's right here. I'm doing all of this kind of out of order, but it's kind of whatever. Ugh. Until we get to the bosses in this area and Lucaria and such, it's not really much else to worry about. I'd like to limit how many random cookbooks I pick up, because honestly, I don't want them. Hold up. I know that there's a smithing stone somewhere around the last year ruins. Ah, it's over there. It should be over there. There's a ritual pot. Oh, here you are. Dang, that was it. Isn't there one in here, or is this a 2? Nope, that's an arterial leaf. Okay. Now it's time to do something reckless. Actually, now it's time to upgrade a flask. Then it's time to do something reckless. Because you see, there's a talisman back here that we really want. But I really don't want to have to fight through those enemies with a crossbow. So, that talisman is a special one. This gives a 30% boost to counterattacks, to piercing damage during counterattacks. Which boils down to if the enemy is attacking, or is in an attack animation when your attack hits, you get a 30% boost to damage, which is so insanely good. Put that there. I'll go say hi to Raya. So we might want her shortcut into Volcano Manor.
Hello. Hello. Hello, it's rather my mistress. But I was a... Could I ask that thug only if you've... Oh, what a blessed thug, please.
I'll come grab this. Hi, Mr. Land Octo, don't mind me. I'm trying to pick up the crystal buds where I can because we're in an area... Right now we're in areas where crystal buds don't respawn. And we won't get access to unlimited crystal buds until pretty late in the game. So I want to hoard them now in case there are any fights that come up where I feel like I need freeze. There shouldn't be, from what I can think of. It's the number one fight that freeze helps with is Millennia. Oops. Yeah, the number one fight that Freeze helps with is Millennia, and by then we'll have access to infinite crystal buds. We've got 8 out of the 10 smithing 3s we need. Might be good to just head for the ruin-strewn precipice now, because there are a few smithing 3s in there, and it would save us some trouble. However, before we do that, I want to grab the jellyfish shield. Unlike in Torch Only, where I mainly wanted that as a shield that could also serve as a weapon with a decent skill and a buff, in this run it's pretty much entirely going to be a buff, because there's no downside to having to one-handing the crossbows, and the two-hand talisman doesn't apply to them, which is sad. Although, with that sadness acknowledged, we actually have a pretty solid spread of talismans that we'll almost always be keeping on. Isn't there a bug up here? Nice. Yeah, there are a handful of talismans that we'll basically always have on. We've got 2 of them, although one of our current talismans will get replaced eventually by what is essentially an upgraded version of it from the DLC. But then there's the Arrow's Sting talisman in Caelid. So Arrow's Reach there's another item in the DLC that does basically the same thing but better. Spear Talisman is going to be sticking around long term, because it's usually just going to be free damage, since as long as we're kind of keeping distance, we're probably going to be attacking, or we're probably going to be counter-attacking. Bosses spend a lot of time in animations, is basically what that boils down to. And the Arrow's Sting in Caelid just gives us like a flat 7% boost to all of our arrow attacks, which is just free damage, because all of our attacks will be arrow attacks. occurs to me that there's someone down the other path who we need to take a visit to. Or make a visit to. Also, I gotta say, one thing that I kinda love about this run is that I have pretty much complete... Like, there's nothing really to figure out about our stat investments and where to put levels. Because so few stats affect what we do for damage.
How can I help here?
3,500, huh? Alright.
Have a safe journey.
Wolf is just staring at us. So, because I've already invested a good bit in... Because I've already invested in enough strength, we're free to wield the jellyfish shield. Which means we can use that for an extra power buff. Assuming we're not trying to first-person aim. Anyway, back to what I was saying, because I realized I paused partway through it. We really don't have many stats that we need to invest in for the weapons and such that we're going to use. We're going to want about 25 faith eventually so that we can cast Golden Vow, because that's just a bit too good to pass up. And it's not that hard to do, especially since we were always going to get to 15 faith for Flame Grant Me Strength at some point. Those two are pretty much staples just because they stack really well, and they're broadly applicable. But beyond that, there shouldn't be much reason to invest in faith as far as I can tell. So we'll be pretty free to pump all of our stats into vigor and endurance and mind, and just buff the absolute crap out of those 3 bars that you see at the top of the screen. My game just crashed. Hooray. Luckily, it should have saved when I was back at the... when I touched the grace at the Lift of Dectus, so... Oh, even better. There. I'm gonna want to come up here at some point, but I don't think now is the time. There's a church up above the town with some stuff that I want, but too much trouble to deal with Vike right now.
Well, then I presume. Some.
Okay, let's head to the ravine. Let's head to the ruin-strewn precipice. Get the smithing fours we need. And then spend the runes so that we can fully upgrade this thing before diving in. We might fight Makar. Would you please not body block me like that? That wasn't very nice. There's one. There's two. There's one of the threes. There's one that we want, but we're going to want to send this back down so we can ride it back up after grabbing it. Oh, there's a 5. You know, they were surprisingly chill there. Come here, guys. Oh. I didn't mean to waste a shot. Is it sad that I've probably passed through this area more than a dozen times and never thought of just jumping to the side to get down to this lower platform? It's not super useful, but it's kind of obvious, so it's pretty sad that so it feels kind of sad that I never thought of it before. Okay, bye, lads. Okay, I need 4 more. This is just a sword, isn't it? That's just a sword. I just rolled off a cliff. Let's head to Hugh.
Now, those are a chap I them well.
Really? How did I miss? How did I not get enough? I thought I was being thorough. Alright, smithing for... Okay, I can visit the artist's shack. Should probably do that regardless.
Look, she's crazy. She has it. I saw in her eye.
We should actually progress Roderica's quest because...
This place around it. I never knew, although I'm still looking. You're telling? I don't believe. If I do, I suppose I'll ask. Certainly, I know I can tell.
We are going to pick up one spirit summon in this game because it's the summon that wields a crossbow and, well, I can't resist. I haven't played with summons in kind of a long time, to be honest. You know something? We should make a point of popping those. They give decent runes for this stage of the game anyway. Also, unlike torch only, we're not going to be going out of our way to get every single torch. Because that just adds a lot to the stuff that we're doing, and I mostly did that in torch only because well, first of all, I wanted to see which ones were any good. But secondly, it gave me something to distract myself when the run got frustrating. Blight crab. So I want to check something while I'm here. Like, the path down to there just doesn't exist, right? I wonder what the flag... No, it does. For some reason, I thought that you had to reach some point in the game before Jarburg could be accessed, but... Okay, yeah, that is... I don't know what just happened. Can someone confirm if you can still hear or see me? Because I think stream may have crashed. Hold up a sec. Okay, yeah, I'm really confused about what's going on with my OBS. Yeah, my OBS is frozen up. Hang on. How to refresh OBS. Like, the thing is, I know I'm still outputting, but I can't monitor anything on my OBS. Guys, I'm just gonna stop the stream, then start it up again. I think that's the safe way. Sorry about this.